Hi there, I'm Gary and welcome to my channel. Today I'm building the Bristol Blenheim Mk.I light bomber in 1/72 scale from AIRFIX. Now this is the 2014 boxing from when it was a new tool, but as AIRFIX is about to reissue the very similar Mk.I-F, I thought it would be a good time for me to build this. Now if you enjoy the show, and I hope you do, please remember to let YouTube know by giving it the imperial thumbs up, by hitting the notification bell and by subscribing to the channel. It's free and a great way to show your support. Now if you fancy a Blenheim or anything else AIRFIX yourself and you don't have a local bricks and mortar shop, you might want to go to the AIRFIX online store. If you do, then go through my affiliate link below, and then at no cost to you, AIRFIX will make a donation to the running of this channel. So let's make a start by looking at the paints and products I used for this project. We're starting on this Blenheim 1, and unusually we're not actually starting with the cockpit, we're starting with wing box. So we'll put the spar in first and then we'll just get that set in place there, and then sort of tack our way along the spar in bits is the best way to do it, rather than try and do the whole thing in one go. It'll come out a lot more strong that way. The next thing that goes in is the sort of supports for the undercarriage, D20 and D21. They're not D20 and D21, they're E20 and E21. Now this is quite an old kit I have. I hope in the newer versions of the instructions they've changed that. I hope so. So what each of these parts need to do is clip into the spar like that, then clip into the place where the undercarriage leg will go eventually. I guess like that. Actually, I guess like that. Yep, that'll do. Like that. Then the front spar sits in here, like so. Then the bottom half of the wing can go onto the top. Just tape it up and glue it up. I'm going to start the construction of the cockpit now. The reason why I'm doing this out of order is that the wing sections and the cockpit and the interior of the tail section all get painted with interior green. I want to spray them all interior green at the same time to save clear up later. So I'm going to do all of these bits first. My kit, I can do what I like. Okay, so that's that for the seat, and now I'll put the seat supports on next. Alright, the seat needs to sit these tiny little holes for the seat to engage with, here and here. Okay, now we have the other half of the frame. It sits on like that, so it's got to engage with this hole, with that seat pin, and the top there. So it's going to be a bit of a stretch to get all of those done. So what I might do actually is hold this with one of these, because it's thinner than my thumb is, and that might allow me now to start putting this together in properly. I'm going to come back in about 10 minutes when I've done this, so it looks like I've done it in one go, because it will be more than one go to do this, I promise you. Yeah, that goes in there. There we go, done in no time at all. Next is this panel here, goes on the side. It's got like the trim wheels and flap levers and the such, and that goes in there like this. And the control column can go in here. Then the seat fits on this bulkhead. It sort of clips onto the back, and there's these two channels here. Fit these two bits on the back of the seat there, and then there's a bit that clips over the top like that. I think we're going to have to hold that top one in place while these two glue in. Then we can fix the top one in a moment. Then there's another seat, the co-pilot seat, navigator seat. Goes into the holes up here. Now the instructions say to build the seat first and then push it in. I find it a lot easier to put the back on first and then build the rest of the seat and add it to it. So I've put the seat pad onto the seat frame, and I can just slot that into position like so onto the seat back to complete the part. Now with all the parts assembled and painted, we can start putting the cockpit together. Then we can close up the two halves of the cockpit like so. Then the last thing I'm going to do is put in this piece here. This is the instrument panel and so on. I put it in last because it doesn't look easier. I think it's easier to set this in the right place when the two halves are together. This piece goes with the Bombay, back end of the Bombay really, goes in here. I think we'll tack it at the bottom and not worry about the top just yet. Just tack it down here for the moment. So I think that will all pull together when the top of the fuselage comes in as well. Let's just do that for the moment. Then the other half of the rear fuselage can slot on like so, and just tape it up and glue it up. Next thing we've got to do is join the rear fuselage to the centre section with the wings. Then when that's set, we join the front fuselage section to this. Now on the Mark IV that I made, this was so easy, I can't tell you. On this Mark I, nothing seems to fit, so I'm going to have to do a bit of work here. Okay, now once all that's been set, we can just run a bead of this clear PVA around the edges here, ready for the top part of the canopy to go on. So make sure there's plenty of it around there. This stuff dries absolutely clear, so don't have to worry too much about it. And just hop it on there. There we go, like this. And then let that set, preferably overnight. The tailplane elements, each tailplane comes as a single piece, so don't have to join them as halves, but the elevator itself goes on the back like so, and needs to be glued in place. Then the tail planes go into the fuselage, and you can see they're handed. So this one's got a slot at the top which goes in like so, and this one hasn't got the slot, so it goes in that side like so. Then the rudder fits into the fin like so. Now if you want the flaps down on the aircraft, the flaps here have got tabs, and those tabs sit against the wall here inside the wing. So they sit like so, and that gives you the angle of the flap. However, I don't want the flaps open, and so I have to cut these tabs off and then lay the flaps into the bottom of the wing. The ailerons slot into the wings like so. The single piece ailerons, and they just slot into the wings. The landing light needs to go into the wing as well. I'm just holding this in place with a bit of clear PVA. Okay, I'm getting ready to start priming the aircraft now. So the first thing I've got to do, of course, is mask off this glass house at the front. Am I going to do it by cutting the masks? No, I am not. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use a mask set, the Blenheim Mk.I, for AIRFIX Mark 1 1/72 scale CX398 from Edward. And while I've done the masking for the aircraft, I've also done the turret that will go on later on, but I might as well do it now. And then the engines go together by first of all putting in this injector ring then. That's cool. So start to assemble the covers for the engines. First goes on the bottom piece, because this is like controlled, its position by the two exhausts, so we can dob a bit of glue in there to keep them in place. And just make sure they actually are sitting where they're supposed to sit. These engine covers are a pain in the backside, I have to say. AIRFIX, I like you AIRFIX, but these are a proper pain in the backside. I've never liked them. Okay, so the next panel goes on here, connects up with the other one. And again, we'll put some glue into that recess there. Then the last piece goes in here. Now you notice how these little bulges that sit over, I presume, the rocker covers or something. See, this one goes right through the middle of one of those. What's the point of that? Do an asymmetric one, then that can be kept whole. Then we get the cowling support, and we put the propeller shaft from the engine through here, and we need to push that all the way through. Like so, so it sticks out the other side, because that's what the propeller is going to sit on. And we can just put a dab of glue in there to hold that in place. Now I'm going to paint this aluminium before it goes on the rest of the engine. And there's this part that holds the engine covers in place at the right distance. And then finally, for the engine pod, as it were, the nacelle, you have the exhaust collector ring that sits on the front here, and it connects up with the two exhaust stubs there. So then finally, the engine nacelle can sit on the front of the wing, like so. So that's it, ready for painting. I have the gun turret ready to paint as well, primed. So the whole lot's going to be dark earth first. I'm going to mask it, do dark green. When that's all done, mask the whole of the top off, and then just do the whole base in night. Now I'm going to leave these open. I was going to put the bomb base closed, but you know what, I thought, no, make an effort. Have the bomb base open, just put these on. Even if I'm not using the little bombs here, might as well put those in. So when that's done, it's night, then I can just mask it off and fill that in with the interior grey-green. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll catch you on the other side of the spray booth. Next, I'm going to put in the bomb racks into the bomb bay. And these are painted black, and do you know what? I don't think you'll ever see them again, so I don't think you have to worry too much about what colour they are, or anything else indeed in the bomb bay, because you ain't going to see it unless you put this on a mirror surface. You're never ever going to see any of that again. Then the bombs sit on the racks. This is quite a tricky little job, but we'll see how we go with it. Okay. Then we can start putting the bomb doors open. These are going to take some time because there are 8 of them on the Blenheim. So on each bay you've got 2 outer doors and 2 inner doors, so that's 4 doors per bay, and therefore 8 bomb doors in total. To be fair, they do go on pretty well, and they're not difficult to line up, and they do sit quite nicely. Now for the undercarriage, there's a couple of slots on this front leg assembly. There's a couple of slots on the front of here, so those just have to fit over those first of all. I say that's all they've got to do, it's just what they've got to do, but then I have a history of fun and games with Bristol aircraft undercarriages in various scales. Oh, that could be it. That could be it like that. There we go. Okay, that's good. That's good. That I'm taking that. Then the strut, the other strut, sits in like a cup either side there, and then connects to the back of the main leg, if it will sit there. So they go in that, like that, and that. And they sit underneath. So let's put a bit of glue in there just to keep them. So the actuator, I guess these are actuators, they sort of sit in here, lean forward, and if you just push this forward, the main leg forward a bit, like so, the actuators slot in underneath the bracket on either side. Like that, and make sure they're in seated properly. There we go, like that. It is quite a fiddle, but it's the same on every Bristol aircraft undercarriage I've done. These Beauforts, this scale, 1/48, they've all been a nightmare to put in, but you can get there eventually. You will get there eventually. I'll show you from the side. There you go, like that. Then the gear door sits on the front of the gear legs, like so. The wheels clip into the hubs on the main gear here. Now, got I'm going to be really careful because I really don't want to break these. Let's see if I can gently tease them. And they're going to need touching up yet again. I've retouched these wheels so many times I've knocked them in. Anyway, what we're going to do is leave these free for the moment because they are actually flat spotted for weight. But we can do that by putting in the tail wheel, then setting the thing up the right way, and then making sure these are flat, and then just dab some glue onto the axles, and then they'll stay put, hopefully at least. On each engine there's these little inlet tubes that need to go inside the engine housing. There's a little sort of hole for it to go into. There's two on each engine, like so. Now the propellers go on the front of the little stubs, like so. And the glass of the turret goes on top, like so. Then the turret can sit into the hole here and it sits on its mounting nicely, like so. There is then a pretty good kit of the Blenheim, I think. I didn't much like the fit of the fuselage and cockpit sections where they go together, although when I did these on my Mark IV, they went together perfectly well. Likewise, getting the glazing to fit together is a lot of trial and error. But beyond that, I found the kit very straightforward to build, and I like the result very much. If you've liked this video, and I hope you did, please do remember to let YouTube know by giving it the imperial thumbs up, by hitting that notification bell and subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching today, and goodbye.